Pumpkin versus Sugarcane, the ultimate showdown. In today's video, I'm going to test out both Pumpkin and Sugarcane to see which one is the best thing to farm for either XP or for money. So I borrowed a maxed out Sugarcane hoe and a maxed out Pumpkin dicer from my guild members, and I'm going to use the Sugarcane hoe to farm Sugarcane for 5 minutes, then I'm going to use the Pumpkin dicer to farm pumpkins for 5 minutes, and I'm going to see how much XP and money we get from each, and then we'll do an analysis to find out which one would be the better one to farm for either money or XP, and the best one to farm overall for both. Because I'm already at farming 60, I can't actually use the game to check how much XP I have, so what I'm going to do is actually go to the website Skycrypt to actually check my stats there, and I'll let you guys know how much XP I get from each thing. So it's worth noting that although these tools are pretty close to max, they're not entirely maxed out because the Sugarcane hoe is cultivating 9 and the Pumpkin dicer is cultivating 7. But other than that, the Pumpkin dicer is fully maxed out and the Sugarcane hoe is maxed out, except that you could technically get 100 million sugarcane and get a little bit more of a bonus. But most people are not going to reach that, so doing it with 70 million is still pretty good. By the way, before I start farming sugarcane, I want to let you know that I have an elephant pet equipped and I also have a god pot active. Okay, so I'm going to start my timer for 5 minutes and we're going to start farming sugarcane in 3, 2, 1, go. Those of you that watched my earlier video where I compare sugarcane to netherwort know that the best farming speed and angle for sugarcane is 327 speed and a 45-degree angle. And I said that in the middle of my previous video, so make sure that you watch my videos all the way through, so that way you don't miss out on pretty cool tips. Alrighty, it looks like we just finished. The timer went off for sugarcane. That has been 5 minutes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly out here and I'm going to go up to my pumpkins and we're going to farm pumpkins for 5 minutes. And as we're flying up to get to my pumpkin farm, now would be a great time if you guys want to help me out by hitting the thumbs up button on the video. And also, if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe as well. Thanks so much. By the way, before I start farming these pumpkins, I just want to show you guys my personal compactor. I have enchanted sugar and enchanted sugar cane, and I also have enchanted pumpkin and a polished pumpkin. This allows me to not have to stop every few seconds to compact everything. I can just farm to my heart's content and everything will just automatically get compacted. Okay, so now we're going to farm pumpkins for 5 minutes. I'm going to set the timer and we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so as you can see from where I'm farming here, I'm going at an angle of either 145 degrees or 35 degrees when I turn, depending on which way I'm facing. And I'm going at a speed of 400. And basically I'm just leaning against the side and just pressing either the D key or the A key, depending on the direction that I'm going. If you don't have the NEU mod to determine your angle, you can just simply hit F3 and then you can look up there and it will show your angle while you have F3 as well. So that means you don't have to actually install any mods to be able to see your angle while you're farming. All right, guys, so the timer just went off and we just did 5 minutes of pumpkin farming. So now that we farmed both sugarcane and pumpkin, it's time to calculate how many coins and how much XP we got after farming. It's worth noting that both sugarcane and pumpkin both sell for more than their NPC price to the bazaar. So it is definitely a good idea to sell them to the bazaar. You don't want to bother selling them to the NPC unless the prices happen to crash at a later date and the bazaar price goes below the NPC price, then you might as well sell the NPC. But currently you definitely want to make sure that you sell this to the bazaar. Okay, so after calculating how much each thing would sell to the bazaar for, the sugarcane would sell for 229,760 coins in 5 minutes, which is a total of 2,757,120 coins in 1 hour. It's worth noting that sugarcane's price, if you go here and look, is almost the same for both insta-selling and doing a sell offer, and so I just would insta-sell this right now, so there's really no difference in the price. However, the polished pumpkin has a pretty large difference between their buy and sell offer, so I'm going to tell you what it would be with the instant sell and what it would also be if you took the time to create a sell offer. So if you insta-sold pumpkins to the bazaar, you would end up with 252,943 coins in 5 minutes for a total of 3,035,316 coins in an hour. And if you actually took the time to put in a sell order and wait for your pumpkins to sell, you would end up with 282,943 coins in 5 minutes, which is 3,395,316 coins in an hour, which means that according to this, pumpkin actually made more money than sugarcane, which is crazy because everybody always said that sugarcane made more money than pumpkins. I believe that the key reason for this is that currently, if you go to the bazaar, pumpkins are way higher than they normally are. Both enchanted pumpkins and polished pumpkins are normally not this high, but they are right now. So whether they stay up this high or not, I'm not sure. But if they do stay up this high, it looks like pumpkin makes more money than sugarcane. But wait, let's go to the XP and see which makes more XP. All right, so after calculating the XP that you get get from sugarcane after 5 minutes, you get 43,395 XP. That means that in an hour you would get 520,740 XP from sugarcane. But if you farmed pumpkins in 5 minutes, you would get 42,800 XP, and in 1 hour you would get 513,600 XP. That means that pumpkin actually made less XP than sugarcane. So everything is the complete opposite. Apparently today is opposite day. I don't know what's going on, but it is actually very, very close. So this pumpkin dicer does have a cultivating 7, so it gets 7% extra XP instead of the 9% extra XP that the sugarcane hoe is getting. So that 2% may end up making pumpkin kind of tie with sugarcane. And also because with pumpkin, you're actually going up the row and then you're turning around and going back down the row. So that requires manually turning. Whereas sugarcane, you can kind of stay in one direction and just use one hand and go back and forth because you can farm in reverse. So when I'm doing pumpkin, I may not actually go perfect when I'm turning. So that does slow me down. So if you were perfect when you were turning doing pumpkin, you may end up being able to get more XP. But yeah, so overall guys, that's crazy. In our test, sugarcane made less money than pumpkin due to the high bizarre prices of pumpkin right now. And they got about the same amount of XP. So if you're just looking at the figures, that would mean that it would make sense to farm pumpkin because pumpkin seems to be the best overall. However, I still believe that sugarcane is the best thing to farm, and here's why. As I just said before, when you're farming pumpkin, you have to go up a row, go all the way to the end of that row, and then when you get to the end of the row, you have to actually turn around and then go around the corner and then do the next row. That requires manually turning and focusing on the game every single time you get to the end of a row. So if you're doing this while you're trying to do something else, like watch Netflix or something like that in the background, it's going to be incredibly annoying because you're going to always have to focus up your angle and get your angle good every single row. That's just really annoying, especially because if you're farming, you might be doing it for hours on end. With sugarcane, you can go up the row and then back down the row in reverse. And because you're going in reverse, you can keep your angle the same automatically. You don't have to even touch your mouse if you change your key bindings so that you use a different button on your keyboard instead of your left mouse for farming the actual cane. So even though it does get a little bit less money and possibly the same amount of XP, I still think that it would be the best thing to farm. Another reason why it might be better to farm is because you only need to build 3 layers of sugarcane to get an infinite farm. It's actually like 2.5 layers really, whereas because pumpkin grows back slower, you would actually need several more layers to get an infinite pumpkin farm. I'm hurrying it either 4 or 5 even to get an infinite farm. And that's quite a lot of farms to build just for a little bit extra money, and you have to manually turn around. So I still think that sugarcane is the best way to go, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that people should really be building pumpkin farms and farming pumpkins, or do you think people should stick with sugarcane? So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. And until my next one, I'm Bald Guy Ace, reminding you to embrace the baldness.